Okay, YouTube, this is OBX Hatman here. Going to show you a little bit of my setup. We're out here in Buxton today, enjoying the weather. Very nice today. And it's about lunchtime, so we decided to anchor up and have a little bit of lunch while I wait for the afternoon bite to come. And this is the Radar 13.5. Back here, you got the rudder. You got the pulley system for the rudder that I'm gonna eventually do more with. That's where I'll keep my life jacket. This is my Ingle cooler. Have some ice in it. That's where I keep my bait. She carries all the food in another container. This is basically my safety pack. Has suntan lotion, flare gun, whistle, aspirin, any of the needed things for survival. I've also got like a survival kit in there as well that has other aspects of it that's pretty cool. Waterproof matches, various things like that. Back here on the Ingle, fish grips. I have this for toothy critters. Tackle box. Basically jigs and other rigging items for popping corks and various things like that. Poles sit inside the ram mounts. And I have the Yak Attack, or actually Railblazer HD mount for the camera, GoPro. Moving on up, another Railblazer mount. This is for the pole holder. I have a waterproof container. Has everything that I need in it: wallet, phone, everything else. This is the AirPro Max seat, very good seat. I have a cup holder over there. Keep my jigs pretty much in close proximity, so I ain't got to move a whole lot around the cabin. Got this right here, which is also for toothy critters if I need it, and it also has a line cutter for braid line and all kinds of other line. This is a rag for slimy things. Easier to handle when you grab them around a rag. Along the rail, you see I have the rudder lift system, which goes behind the Yak Attack HD trolley system. That runs all the way down. I have a cleat here, my tie-off cleat for my anchor. And then my anchor goes out that way. This is the pedal drive system. Very good system, I like it. A little bit more draft than the Slayer Propel. 2 or 3 inches. Can't go in quite as skinny a water. Nonetheless, it's still a pretty good system. I like it more than I do the Propel as far as overall. I just wish it had a little bit smaller prop. Maybe a better pitch on the blade to get a little bit more momentum, but it still does great. Up here, this is the Flex Pod. You get this without all of this stuff when you get the kayak. I have it's an AC plug, waterproof plug, that's mounted in to this, and I've wired it DC. And I don't like running the wires and stuff all inside the kayak just because I want it to be easy to disassemble, and trying to keep from putting too many holes in the boat. That's the waterproof plug. And then I'll show you what the inside of it looks like. I run the plug up underneath this here to keep it out of the way of the pedals when I'm pedaling around. Inside here is where the battery's at. In order to get that battery to set on nothing but soft material, what I did is I cut a couple pieces of 2x4 about maybe a 1/4 inch high. I set them down inside of it, put the battery on top after I wrapped it with a garbage bag, a pretty thick garbage bag. Then I took that great stuff you get from like Home Depot, and I sprayed it up around with the nozzle underneath where the battery is setting and everywhere. I let it foam up completely. Then I took the battery out, and I still had to deal with, even though I had foam in most areas where the battery was set, there was still the hard 2x4 sitting there. So I cut them out with a razor knife, and then I backfilled that location in with silicone. So the battery sets on a completely cushioned environment. Now what that does is, as I'm riding down the road with this on a trailer or on top of the car, it keeps the battery from beating and banging on the hard surface. I know the kit that they sell for this, the battery still sets on a hard surface for the most part, and I wasn't really too enthused about that, so I did this way. This is a quick disconnect that goes to the battery, and I got stainless steel nuts and everything from Lowe's. I believe that's where I got them, was Lowe's. I also drilled a hole right at the very bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I drilled a hole right in the bottom, so in case any water gets in here, which it does, it'll drain out underneath the hole. Very long-winded nut they give you with that thing. And I like the bulkiness of this because it's pretty heavy duty. I know the ones you get from Minn Kota, and there's also another company that makes them. You can't really tighten the lug nuts down on the wires really tight. It's like you can actually bend the clamp inside if you tighten it too tight, and I wasn't real happy with that. This is actually very heavy duty. You're not going to break that very easily, and it's not going to strip out, and you're not going to easily bend anything inside the plug, and it's still waterproof. I believe I got it on I want to say I got it on Amazon. It took me a while to find the right plug, but I found it on Amazon. I can't remember the company that did it, but that pretty much stays out of my pedaling. Of course, I got C-Deck on here, as y'all seen in the other videos. Hatch does seal really well. No problem with that. The emblem that they had up front here, that sort of fell off. I don't know how that got misplaced or whatever. I guess I was driving down the road or whatever, and maybe the adhesive just let go. So I've got some dots that were cut out from the scupper holes. When C-Deck did the padding, there was a couple of dots left that they cut out and left in the package, and they're almost the same size as this. I might have to trim the gray, the dark gray off around the edge of it, but I think it'll fit inside of this hole, so I'll probably just put that there, or I might just leave it the way it is. Don't really matter. When you have a pedal drive in here, you're going to have a big hole right in the front, so make sure no jigs fall down in that. They will be gone. Hatch area is nice. Going around. This is the Raymarine Dragonfly 5. It's a great little unit. It's lightweight. I have it on a ram mount transducer arm, which is basically an aluminum rod that you have to bend to match the curvature of your kayak down to the water. Then you mount the transducer below, as you can see that down there. It's a great little device. Battery lasts a long time fully charged with it. I can't remember the amp hours of battery, This is Duracell. It's a deep cycle Duracell battery with the post terminals on top where you can put the lug nuts. Keeps it charged. I've been out like 10 times with this thing. I let it run all day long and it still hasn't given me a low battery warning yet. So it's very efficient as far as battery power goes, what it uses. This is my paddle. Now, the Scotty clip I've got in here, I raised it up some with these Teflon posts. These are, I think, 1-inch Teflon posts. Bought longer screws, put washers on the inside with the nuts, the nylon locking nuts, and they're all stainless steel. And then I also mounted another Teflon spacer with a stainless steel screw and a washer and a nut on the other side, just stainless steel. And I just bought some bungee cord. The reason that was is because I actually lost my paddle one day, or at least I thought I lost it. And I was in very shallow water, and it was almost to the point where I was going to have to get out and try and walk towards wherever I thought it was going. So I just followed the current and found it. That was actually pretty bad experience. So when I got back to the house, I went to Taylor and I bought this bungee cord, which is just some cheap ass bungee cord. I mean, it's not nothing great. You can see it's actually kind of tearing a little bit. I need to get a little bit higher quality bungee cord. And I tied it off to these spacers, and then I just pulled it tight before I tied it off to the other side. I don't know which side I did first, but that doesn't matter. And then I made sure that it was tight when I hooked it up around this, because the surface here actually leans back a little bit. So when you have this post here, it's not going to slip off of this very easily. That's going to stay there pretty securely, and that keeps the paddle from going anywhere. It does make it a little bit more of a pain when I need it in a pinch, but I'd rather know that my paddle's going to stay at my side instead of end up losing it again. So don't let that happen to you if you buy Scotty clips. Can't really use this once you get the rudder assembly. This is the one they give you with the Wilderness Systems Radar 13.5. You can't use this at all. This is pretty much worthless once you get the pedal drive system, and that's because of the rudder. When the rudder's fully deployed and everything, you cannot fit a paddle in here and not not be in the way. So I think they kind of botched that a little bit. Rails on it for accessories and things of that nature. I know that they leave these gaps out in front of this rail system for the seat, so that the seat can slide up and out of that away, but they really should probably have extended this a little bit further so this rail system could come up a little further. I'm 6'2", almost 3 inches tall, and even with the seat in the middle position, or slid about midway up this rail, I'm pretty extended to reach the pedals, and I actually need to go up a little bit more. Now, the reason I say that is because my rod holder over there, I like for that to be somewhat close by me, but I ran out of rail over there to put it up a little bit further. If I could, I'd have it another 3 or 4 inches further, and I'd slide the seat up another inch or two. But it is what it is. I'm eventually going to have to move that over to that rail system, and that's going to make me have to lean forward to put my rod inside of it if I need to, you know, use a bottom rig or something like that, which is going to be a little bit more of a pain. I'll probably actually move the cleat up a little bit more and then put the Railblazer HD system just where the cleat's at. But for right now, here's what it is. And that's pretty much the setup out here on the water at Buxton, North Carolina. I fished the flats a little bit this morning, seen a lot of stingrays, didn't really get any drum. Fished with a bottom rig for a little bit just to say I caught something, and you know, as it would have it, you know, pinfish and porgies and all the little things that like to nibble the bait off your bottom rig. And my wife's over there with her Feel Free 11.5. She's enjoying the sun and laying out. And I think we're going to go ahead and have some lunch here shortly. For now, this is the OBX Hatman. I'm signing out from Buxton, North Carolina. Hope y'all have a great day, and thank you for watching.